Welcome to the 21st century. It isn't the 1950s anymore. Don't you feel great to be alive? Where you can identify as transgender, where you could be your own sexuality without being criticized, where you could marry who you want to without being criticized, and where you could play with toys without a gender specific label. It doesn't feel great to be alive. Well, for me, I feel great to be alive because segregation's been over for years. It's unconstitutional. Slavery's unconstitutional. Regardless if you're black or white, we live and coexist amongst each other. I mean, it's a wonderful thing in America that America is moving towards more of a post-racial society. But lately, there's been a couple of things that I know the title of this video is completely different. I'm going to talk about the main subject of this video, but I just want to talk about if we don't get our act together with the police in America, we will never live in a post-racial society. We will always live in a racial society where black people are called criminals, even if they're peacefully protesting. And it's a shame you have white people and even liberal white people, baby boomer liberal white people who constantly see looting as a criminal act. But during Hurricane Katrina, it was necessary because they needed milk, bread, food, water. And granted, there was real criminal looting during Hurricane Katrina, but there was also necessary looting. Now, what happened in Ferguson was unnecessary looting? No. But do I call them criminals? No, I don't. And I think people are too quick to judge. Rightfully so, angry black Americans who are pissed off that shit never gets done when an unarmed black teenager is killed. Just saying. But I wanted to get that out of the way. But to go back to the thing that I was talking earlier about toys not having a gender, Target is in hot water. If you don't know what I mean by that, single mother was with her two sons in Target where she lives. I forget the state. I apologize. And they would not go down the girls' aisle because her sons thought that the toys were too girly. So she complained to the Target manager of the whole franchise, and the franchise manager said, "You know what? I have a good idea. Let's take away the labels of boys and girls toys so there's no gender identified toys," which is actually a good thing because toys don't have a fucking gender, and toys are not gender specific, and I'll prove to you why they're not gender specific. See, growing up, I mean, I grew up in the early 2000s, but I remember somewhat I remember the last 3 years in the 90s very well. But let's put it into perspective. Girls that I knew played with Barbie dolls as long as I could remember. But as a boy, we played with Barbie dolls as well. We just called them G.I. Joes. While girls had easy bake ovens, boys had a similar toy, which was considerably close to the easy bake oven, but only made bugs, creepy crawlers. Are you getting my point? Whenever there's a thing deemed feminine, there has to be thing put out that looks exactly like the same thing that's deemed feminine, but it has to only it has to be given a more masculine name. See, toys don't have a gender identity. Okay, they're not living people. And also, it's a fact that boys and girls could play with whatever the fuck they want to. You know why? Because I remember, and this is true. The one time, growing up, a family friend of mine who I'm still very close to, her and I were in her room as kids, and we played with her Barbie dolls. I'm not kidding. And did it bother me? No, because it was a toy. It was a toy. And that's the thing. Toys bring children happiness regardless if they're deemed masculine or feminine. And here's another point. Where is the rule that says Lincoln Logs are only meant for boys? Where's the rule that for real pets are only meant for girls? There's no rules. You know why? Because they're toys. They are toys. Do you know that when the Wonder Woman television series came out in the 1970s, young boys and girls had Wonder Woman dolls made by Barbie? Did you know that? Oh, you probably didn't, because you don't. You aren't. You're blinded to pop culture. That's the thing about toys. It doesn't matter if they're deemed masculine or feminine. They should actually, like Target's doing, they should all be deemed neutral, because you know what? Regardless if you're a boy or girl, you know what? Play with a Barbie doll, play with a G.I. Joe, play with Lincoln Logs, play with a toy that's going to make you happy to play with, to make you live in a world of imagination where you can make life more happier than it is now. In a time when the U.S. is near complete destruction, where people are losing jobs left to right, it doesn't matter what toy a boy or girl plays with. It really doesn't matter. And if you think that toys should have a gender identity, I don't know what to say to you. I really don't know what to say to you. What's the point of denying a little boy happiness if he wants to play with a Barbie doll? What's the point? What's the point of denying a little girl happiness if she wants to play with the G.I. Joe? What's the point of denying the joy of a young boy playing with a easy bake oven? What's the point of denying a little girl the joy of playing with creepy crawlers? I hope you're getting what I'm saying. Toys bring kids happiness. Kids don't give a shit if it's a Barbie doll, a G.I. Joe, creepy crawler machine, or easy bake oven. The thing is, when kids play with toys and they're happy, that's all that matters. And people are honestly thinking that it should have a gender identity, which is stupid. And like I said, it isn't in the 1950s anymore. And this is actually a positive thing to happen in America, not a negative thing.